I reach out to people, help people apply for grants, and also help to complete the grants once they've got the money. So we show, how the companies have spent the money, how the artists have spent the money, and just submit it to Factor. We work with a couple other ones, but Factor is the biggest one. We do some with the OMIF, which is like Ontario Music Investment Fund. We work with Radio Star Maker, Canada Council for the Arts, and some provincial things such as like Creative BC, Creative Saskatchewan, like Nova Scotia funding, things like that. But Factor is definitely the biggest one. There's a lot of them, but we work with people like Jesse Reyes, Walk Off the Earth, Mercules, if you know him, a lot of smaller artists as well. So some that you might not have heard of, but there's a band called The Color, Autumn King. On our website, we actually have a full list of all the artists, and on our Instagram as well. But we work with at least over 150 artists within Canada. We have a rights and royalties side to Sub-Management Group as well. So everyone that we work with for the funding side would be Canadian, but anything rights and royalties related could be international. Well, it kind of started actually when I was in grade 6. I went to Relay for Life in Toronto, and while I was there, there was some bands playing, and I kind of fell in love with this one band that was there called The Dunes, and they were just a Canadian band, so it kind of snowballed from there. I started going to any all-ages concerts that I could in Toronto. And then my high school actually ended up getting a radio station. I kind of had my own radio show in like grade 9 or 10, I think. So I did that for a bit. And yeah, still just going to shows all the time, anything that I could go to and my parents would drive me to, I would go to it. And then after that, I went to Laurier in Waterloo, like Wilfrid Laurier, and did communications there. After that, I still wanted to get more into the music industry. Wasn't really doing what I wanted to specifically. So I went to the Harris Institute in Toronto for their arts management program. And at Harris, all of the teachers there are actually currently working in the music industry. So I met my now boss, Zach Layton, there, and he hired me right after the 1 year of school. And that's how I ended up at Sub-Management Group. I didn't know that grants even existed for Canadians before going to Harris, and then just learned all about it while I was there with Zach. Well, it's obviously super helpful if you can get it, just to help offset the cost, especially for smaller artists. When you need some money to kind of make your first album, EP, whatever, it's super helpful that way as far as just building the Canadian music industry, which is the entire point of funding, which is great. But the main way to kind of get into it and look into it would just be read everything. Just go onto the Factor website. Specifically, if the artists are kind of smaller, look at the artist development program. That would be for around $2,000 for an up-and-coming artist, which helps a bit as far as getting things going. And yeah, just read all the guidelines. There's so many different rules when it comes to funding. So that's just the main thing, to make sure you know what you're applying for and that you'll use it and use the money effectively. Probably just go to as many shows as possible as well, if that interests you at all. I mean, that was a great way for me when I was growing up to meet a lot of people in the music industry, even just other people that are also at concerts. There's usually a lot of, artists and producers or, a lot of different people there. And even just go to shows alone, honestly. I know some people are super scared of doing that, but I used to do that all the time, especially in university, and it kind of just forces you to talk to more people as well. So like we all know, I mean, the music industry is super small, and like we're all connected in some way. So I think that's the best way to kind of just get into it. Just meet as many people as you can, do as many things as you can, say yes to doing things you wouldn't normally do, and it'll usually bring you to some good things later.